Get going. This webinar is being recorded. Thank you all for joining this morning. My name is Helen Bowman and I'm Head of Comms for Business in the Community in Northern Ireland. A few people just popping in as we're chatting here, so you might hear a wee beep or two as people enter the webinar. So it's great to have you all along today. So obviously you know about the awards in the first instance, and hopefully you're going to enter one or more of our categories this year. So this short event is about helping you try to make the best of your application for the awards process. And what we'll do is we'll just cover the following things in today's event. So we're going to find out a little bit about the awards, who the categories are sponsored by and what those categories are, key dates for your diaries, the entry process, how the judging works, judges tips, and what you need to do next, and then we'll share a little bit about the gala event that will take place in September. And then if you have any questions, you can just pop them into the chat as we go along, and we'll try to cover some of those questions as we go. So the Responsible Business Awards in Northern Ireland are designed to celebrate companies who are inspirational and impactful in their responsible business actions. And reward and recognition is really, really important for companies, and it's not just about blowing your own trumpet, although that is part of it, but it's getting this recognition for your organisation for the good things that you are doing. It's important for your people to understand that they work for a good and responsible business, and it's important to inspire others. So if you find something that's really worked for your organisation, something that you're super proud of, then sharing that with others can also inspire them to get on that responsible business journey and do those things themselves. And as you go through the awards process, you can learn a lot about your own company, because it sort of gets you to gather all of those things in one location to make your application the best that it possibly can. So you learn more about your organisation as you go through the process. And also you get a bit of gap analysis or feedback from us. So some of you who've maybe entered the awards before, we always offer feedback to our companies, whether that means you're a winner or you're shortlisted or you're not shortlisted. We're happy to provide companies with as much information as possible. So the categories then for 2022, this is an opportunity really to thank our sponsors and partners for their leadership and support. So we're really delighted to announce that Henry Brothers has entered a 3-year partnership as key sponsor for the awards, along with all of the other companies that you see here who really have demonstrated their own leadership in responsible business so far and are keen to inspire others to do the same. So of the 10 categories then, you're able to enter any of those, and there's a caveat on 2 of them. So the Northern Ireland Responsible Company of the Year is only open to private sector companies that are members of Business in the Community in Northern Ireland that have achieved CORE, the standard for responsible business. So if you've already done CORE, then actually making your submission for that category should be a little bit easier on you, because you've already gathered a lot of your evidence and data for that. And the one to watch category is only open to member organisations that have joined Business in the Community since January 2020. So you see all the other categories are listed here. So how can you then get involved? Swishing my paper around here, give me a second. We have a hub on our website that will help you find everything that you need to make a good entry. So it's bitcni.org.uk/awards, and in here you'll see on this web page there are a number of buttons. So one about how to enter the awards, another one about how to make a great entry, and then another one which is how you can get involved and actually come into the event. And as you scroll down there, you'll see a little button here that says download the how to enter guide, and then all of the categories are listed here. That how to enter guide is available, as I said, to download. There's nothing secretive about our awards. Nobody has an advantage over another organisation. Everybody is on a fair and level playing field. So in this how to enter guide, what you will find is every single question for every single category. So you'll be able to prepare in advance. It also identifies your word limit for each section, although you'll not be able to type beyond the word limit anyway whenever you get onto the platform. And it also tells you the marks that are available for each section. So it's a really good guide to download, have it sort of sitting beside you, print it off, have it sitting beside you, and as you're preparing your application, make sure you read every question and make sure that your application has a response to every question. That's what the judges will be looking for. So key dates then, and again, good to put these in your diary if you can. So the awards have opened for entry. We have this webinar and we have another one, and then the recordings will be available to everyone as well. So the second one is on the 15th of March. The closing date for entries is on Friday the 29th of April at 5 p.m. The shortlist will be announced week commencing the 17th of May. Our judging panels, which will be virtual, will take place from the 20th to the 24th of June, just before the summer holidays. And then we have our gala event at the ICC in Belfast on the 8th of September. So that's a really important date to get in your diary. So before you start deciding what you're going to do or how you're going to make your application, make sure you check out all of the categories and consider the time frame for your project and decide which categories you want to enter. So you might have a project that you think really fits within the wellbeing category, but it also might be a project that you could enter into the digital category. So if you've done something with your staff to really help improve their health and well-being during this period of time, but you've done it by means of a digital mechanism, an app or whatever, you could enter it into both of those categories. And then try not to do everything yourself. So talk to other people who can help you with your entry and share with them that how to enter guide and start gathering information so that you can make sure that your entry is as compelling as possible. And it's always good to have, you know, one or two other pairs of eyes, no matter how much you know what the organisation has done. It's always good to have somebody else read over that as well. So I'm going to share a short video with you now from my colleague Susie, who's not actually here because she's unwell, and she's going to show you how we accept our entries on our online platform called Judgify.
Wanted to give you a quick run through of how to use the Judgify platform to make your awards entry. So those of you that entered the awards in 2021, it's going to be very familiar to, and the good news is that your login details from last year still work this year. If you're new to the awards process, you're very welcome to the journey. You lot will need to click on this button over here just to set up a new account on Judgify. It asks a few simple questions just about your name. It'll ask you to set up a password for yourself, and that just means that you can log in and out of the platform and amend your entries as you please. We'll go back to the landing page. So once you've got your account set up and you want to submit an entry, press the green button and enter in your details. And when you log in, it will open up a landing page. If you haven't started any entries, yours will look different to mine. I've started a few and it just gives you an overview of where you are with them. If you haven't started, you won't see anything on this page, but you'll see a big button to say submit a new entry. So when you click that, it'll bring you to another page that will show you a drop-down menu and will allow you to choose whichever category or categories you want to enter. So for talk's sake, I'll enter fair chance for all. And it brings up all of the details of this category and the boxes that you need to complete to submit your entry. Right at the bottom as well, there will be some space for you to upload PNGs or JPEG images to be associated with your entry, and you can use those however you like. Right at the very top is the only section that is not scored within the entry. So you will be able to see the scores that are available in the notes underneath each box and the word count over on the right hand side of each box. This background and entry summary box will form the basis of a case study if your entry is to win the awards, and we'll put that on the business and the community website. It's also a really good way to give your judges a bit of an overview of what your entry is going to be like before they read the real detail of it further down the entry. So once you've completed it, or you've completed parts of it even, you've got a few options down here. You can either submit if you've finished it off. Submit and add new will take you back to the page where you can choose another category to enter into. Save as draft will save it as a draft so that you can go back and amend if you want, or you can cancel to come out of the entry at all. So once you've created your entry, It will sit on the main landing page like this on Judgify, and you've got a few options in these boxes. This view option is handy because it allows you to get an overview of your whole entry, and if you press print, you'll be able to save a copy as PDF and send it to a colleague if you wish, and to let them to cast their eye over it, a second pair of eyes. You can also edit your entry here, and you can delete the entry here. And you can complete the submission if you're ready to go with this button here. So it's pretty self-explanatory once you get into it, but if you've got any problems, of course, comms team, but good luck with your entries.
Susie was just saying at the end there is that if you have any problems, do contact us and we will help you through any issues that you might face. Just a little bit of a wobble at the end of our video there. One thing is, don't leave it to the last minute. So as you can see there, you can go in and set up your drafts, and you can share your application with other people within your organisation. So don't leave it to the last minute. Get going on it as soon as you can, and don't try to do it all by yourself. So top tips then. So explain the obvious. So sometimes what we find with organisations is that they're so excited about their project and they think everybody knows about it, but actually you have to treat us as an organisation that really knows nothing about it. Even if we're connected in with you really well with our relationship managers, you're not going to be talking to people who necessarily know anything about your organisation or your project. So do explain the obvious. Emphasise the benefits to society, the environment and to your company, and give clear examples of the impact of your initiatives and how they have inspired or can inspire other organisations. This is really, really important. So sometimes what we find in applications that people tell us all the outcomes, so we donated this much money or we provided these resources, but actually what we're looking for in terms of the submissions, well, okay, that's great, but what impact did that actually make in your own organisation, with a community organisation that you've supported, or in your environmental results? The 5 images that Susie spoke about there, please do use those to your advantage. So you can submit a PNG or a JPEG file, and sometimes what people do will be create a little infographic because it gives you more space to kind of put your data in. So do use those images to your advantage. And as I said before there, think about, you know, could your entry be applicable for more than one category, even with just some little tweaks? And I think on the Judgify platform it allows you to clone your application so that you can actually use it in a separate category. We will also try to see that as well. So if there's an application that comes through to us and we think, oh, why did this company not submit, then we will come back to you and have a chat about that. How the judging works. So whilst it's the Business in the Community Awards, we'd love to say we have a say, we really don't. When your applications are submitted, then they're shortlisted by our team, and then those written submissions are scored by external judges, and that's made up by a panel of experts. So when you put the written submission in, then of the marks, 60% of those marks go to the written submission, and 40% come through the virtual panel. And unfortunately what we've had sometimes in the awards is that companies have done a brilliant written submission and then they don't put the best people forward for coming to interview. Or it can be the other way around. The written submission is a wee bit like, oh, you know, they've put in the sort of basic details, and then when people come to present, they're absolutely fantastic. So try to do both of those things really, really well so that you get the maximum amount of marking that you possibly can. So let's get some top tips by one person who's been a judge for us before, and it's Stephen Patton from George Best, Belfast City Airport.
I'm Stephen Patton, HR and Corporate Responsibility Manager at Belfast City Airport, and I've previously judged the Employability Champion Award. As a judge, a top tip from me when you're drafting your award submission is don't just tell, show. It's extremely useful as a judge to have all the evidence right in front of our eyes. Bring me along on your journey. There's nothing I love more as a judge than when I feel part of the story. You should also consider including testimonials from third parties. Hearing you shout about all your good work is great. Having others vouch for you is even better. And as a judge, I take notice of that.
So Stephen Patton, one of our lovely judges from previous awards. So if you've got any questions, just a wee reminder, if you've got a question that you want to ask, please submit that now. And what I want to do is tell you a little bit about the awards event itself. So the gala event takes place at the ICC Belfast on the 8th of September. And really this is a highlight of the business calendar, and just unfortunately we haven't been able to have it for the past 2 years, but we know that there's lots of organisations saying, are you going live this year? And we definitely are going live, you know, in as safe a way as we possibly can. So we've heard people say, oh, we can't wait for the Business and Community Awards, it's the best event of the year. So that's no pressure. But we really do want to make it as fun an event as we can. So we'll be live, real life, real people, lots of networking, some really good entertainment, a buzz of a night, which is really glitzy and glamorous and hopefully glorious for our companies that enter. So put that date in your diary for now. So if you're going to submit, great, and hopefully you'll be shortlisted, and then definitely come along to the event. But even if you don't, do come along to the event as well, because it's an opportunity to meet with other like-minded organisations, and it's a really, really inspiring night. So that's it in terms of the top tips from our judges, how to get onto the Judgify platform, how to access the awards platform so you can get all of the information that you need, including that how to enter guide, which is really a valuable resource for companies that want to enter, and also have a look at some of the case studies of companies that have won awards in previous years, because those are always very inspirational. So let me just have a wee nosy and see if we've got any. I actually have a couple of questions from some people who weren't able to submit today. So one of the questions that came through was, if I've entered the awards before, can I enter again? And the answer is yes. So take on board any feedback that you've received on your application before, and make sure that you adapt your application for this year to incorporate all of that good feedback, and just look at your time scale as well in terms of the application. Another question that came through was around, what if I have a conflict of interest with one of the judges that sits on the panel? So we have had that before, and the answer to that question is that if there is a conflict of interest or a seeming conflict of interest, we ask both the awards judge and we ask the company to declare that in the first instance. But the beauty about the awards process is that it's not one judge that makes the decisions on that, and there is a facilitator in the room too to make sure that everything is fair and equitable. So that when the scoring comes through, it's not that one judge can take priority over another in terms of their scoring, and we would question anything that looks a bit awry on that. Where we've had a very, very direct conflict of interest, then we do switch our judge out. So nobody should ever feel like they're being disadvantaged in entering the awards process. So we can have all the bases covered when it comes to the judging. And the third question that I had in advance of this webinar was, sometimes we can run a little bit late, and are there any extensions for awards entries? And the firm answer on that is no. We don't offer extensions to any awards entries beyond the date of the awards submission. So that's what I'm saying, try to get in early with your application, the preparation of your application, get the people that need to be involved in making the submission, get them in early with you, set up a little meeting and talk about it, share the criteria, and make sure that you've got all of the information that you need ready to submit a really, really good application. And that is it, folks. Just have a go and give us your very, very best whenever you're putting your submissions in. Don't think we've got any other questions.
Helen, Maureen has asked a question.
Yes.
Could you please clarify again who can apply for the different categories?
Yes, absolutely. So as an organisation, you can apply for any of the 10 categories except 2 that have a caveat. So the first one is the Northern Ireland Responsible Company of the Year. So that's the overall award winner. That company needs to be a member of Business in the Community, and they also need to have completed CORE, the standard for responsible business. And it doesn't matter what level of CORE you've achieved, whether that's gold, platinum, or silver. You can enter for Responsible Company of the Year, but that's the additional criteria around that one. And the other one is the category that's called One to Watch. And again, that company needs to be a member of Business in the Community, and they need to have joined from January 2020 onwards. So we're looking for a company that's really at the start of their responsible business journey, and they're being supported in that way by us. So those are the two that have the additional criteria. Everything else is open to any company, whether they're members or non-members of business in the community. Does that answer the question, hopefully, Maureen?
Yes, she says many thanks for the clarification.
No problem. Any others, Brian? I can't see any chats on mine, but if you've got any others, let me know.
No.
Okay, well folks, I'm not going to keep you. Hopefully that was useful for you. All of this information will be available on the awards platform, bitc.org.uk/awards. And if you've got any further questions where you get that eureka moment, go, oh, I should have asked this, that or the other, just come through to the team and we will make sure that we answer that. So have a good day, everyone, and thanks for attending.
Thanks, Alan.